Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. How you doing, Gokul?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Hey, thank you for joining me. I appreciate, taking time out of your schedule to do this. This is awesome.
Yeah. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for doing this with me,
Yeah,
actually.
man, of course. Of course. It's a fun time. We're gonna chat it up, talk about.
Yeah, I was a little tense because this is the first time I'm doing something like this.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you said you were like interested in starting like a channel and everything and express more about like what you do like as a medical student. So tell us a little bit about, what you do.
Yeah, I am a medical student. I live in India, in Kerala, okay, Kerala in India, and I'm now doing my final year. And yeah, that's it. So I thought of talking about some health tips and all. Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
well let's jump right into it, Let's not waste no time.
What
Um
are you passionate about, and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you. I'm currently an exercise science student, so I'm studying in
Okay.
university right now
Yeah.
to be a senior. So, just that
Oh,
passion is just health, fitness, and basically like mindset, like overall lifestyle is just lifestyle.
yeah.
That's kind of what I like
Of
preaching.
course.
That I like preaching that change is possible, and that's kind of what my whole like podcast is around.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Change is possible. Like
Yes. Yes.
anyone like that is going through something, they can see that you can get through it too, like as long as you hear someone else doing it, or there's just always like, because I've seen it myself and then I want to preach that out there, so I like spreading that awareness.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got a lot to
Sure.
talk about in here. We talk about all various different types of things, so
Yeah. I want to
on your
know. I
mind.
want to learn a lot about exercise from you because
Yes,
I'm
of
a
course.
person who doesn't like exercising. I don't do any kind of exercise. You know, the only thing I do is just walking, and that's also I don't do enough. I
Okay,
think.
cool. Well,
Yeah.
we can jump right with that. We can start with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to me
Yeah,
something about exercises and
yeah. I mean, exercise overall for me is like something that I kind of did when I was like younger. I started with,
yeah.
especially like I started in the basement, so like lifting weights and stuff, which I probably was doing it wrong and incorrectly, just throwing weights
Yeah.
around. Probably doing something that I had no clue. But then I kind of got more into it. I started out studying actually computer science for like 2 years, and then I ventured into the health and science realm, and I took working out more seriously, especially like inside the gym and outside the gym. So anywhere I went, I focused on especially my form. And I think that's kind of where I started, was like learning about the individual exercise that I was doing and that goes with it. Because if I actually could, like, say a bicep curl, for example, if I was going into the gym and I was working my biceps, I wanted to understand exactly like what muscle I was doing, what muscle I was working in my bicep, because we have all different kinds of muscles, and the actual correct motion, right? Am I getting like a 4 inch of
Yeah.
motion? Am I like, how is my elbow positioned into like my side of my hip? So like all these little things help me progress that much further in the gym. So like that's just a quick example of how like exercise took a hold of my life. There are so many other things like what I do personally. Is there anything that you're wondering personally, like about exercising?
Exercise. For someone who doesn't like to exercise, what do you recommend doing?
For someone who doesn't like to
For
exercise, but you
yeah,
want
yeah,
to exercise,
yeah. I really
that's a
want
good
to.
yeah, it's a good question. Um, Honestly, like if you don't like to exercise, for me personally, I would say start small, because
It's not like I don't
you
like
also have to
exercising.
find, yeah, you also
Yeah,
have to find like a why. I think that's important.
yeah. The why power. Yeah,
Exactly. Like you need to determine a why you're doing it. So like for me personally, my why, and it's a lifelong why. So my why is I want to be able to be completely mobile, like everywhere. Like I don't want to be big and muscular and like, huge, but I want to be like have that good lean physique, but I also want to be mobile. So when I'm older, I can pick up my kid or pick up a box in a way that it's in a wrong position and I got to pick it up, and I might hurt myself, but I'm mobile enough where I can do that. So that's a lifelong goal, right? That goal is forever. I'm going to be forever working on that because I can forever benefit myself. So for someone with trying to determine, okay, I don't like working out, well, take a step back and say, why would you need to work out? Like actually determine that why. So if you have that why, and when it don't like to work out, you can relate back on that why and be like, oh, that's right. I'm doing this because I want better health for my future. I'm doing this because I want to see my grandkids when I'm older, and I want to do this for myself so that it's like when you take a step back and you do stuff, I think that's a huge change.
yeah.
Mm.
That's so yeah. So what do you recommend doing at first?
At
in the
first,
beginning of exercise. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's different for everyone. You know, it's like it might depend on your goal personally. So if you are trying to build muscle mass,
Yeah.
do something different than someone that's just trying to lean
Mm-hmm.
and lose a lot of weight. So it does
Yeah.
depend on your goal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In medical field, we usually talk like, you don't have to do anything, heavy high intensity workouts and all. Anything that makes your heart race is good for your body. I have heard that, and it's really good for heart health. And that's not the only thing I want to do. I want to do, start exercising, and I want to have a really healthy body too. But it's not sometimes, that push is what I'm lacking, I feel.
And I think that's an important tip too. Is that like the main thing I feel like everyone wants to is a healthy body, right? But the main takeaway is like if you're just starting, just move your body.
Yeah.
I think that's like the main thing
Yeah.
you can do is just like move your body because
Yeah.
creating a video on this earlier on my YouTube page, and I was talking about
Mm.
posture, like tips for like upright posture, better posture. And the main thing is just like you have to move your body because if we look at like our generation now and like generation
Mm.
up, we're just constantly sitting down. So we're just in this position where we might be always hunched and forward and we're not moving as much. So it's just doing
Mm.
little things like that is such just like huge difference. And I feel once
Difference.
moving your body, even if it's walking, even if it's something in your own apartment, your own house, you're doing something to start there. That's simply just moving your body. That'll go such a long way, and it'll give you a motivator, right? It's hard to go from zero to I'm right in the gym because some people have
Yeah.
time going in the gym, right? That's hard, you know, and being around other people and lifting and working out. So even if you take a small step, right, and build up to that, that can help you as a motivator so much more.
Yeah. So I'll start exercising by tomorrow, I feel like. So
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. So yeah. So what do you recommend other things, do you meditate? I know you meditate. I have seen a few videos of yours on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you
I
meditate?
love
Yeah.
to meditate. That's especially meditation with exercise I've been trying out recently.
Yeah, yeah, there are yeah, so many kinds of meditations are there. So I also have been meditating for 1 year now.
Mm,
So yeah, it has hugely made a difference in my life. Where I have, before I used to worry about everything. I was, I call myself, an overthinker. So before,
mm.
whatever happens, even if something doesn't happen, the worry you have about your future, it takes up so much time, and you just live in that fear. So I was like that. I was an overthinker for most of my life, and once I started doing meditation, that's when I felt, and that's the point I started understanding myself and how I am, how I can change this. Okay, these are the bad qualities I have, or these are the negative qualities I have, and I have to, avoid them. I have to, yeah. That's how I started doing meditation, and after that, now my life has only become better.
Mm.
So yeah.
Now, is there a certain time where you meditate? Do you meditate?
Yeah. I meditate every day early in the morning. I'm not a consistent meditator, not every day, but still I try to do every day. And I would recommend meditating, before the sun rises.
Mm.
If you're someone who, meditate in the morning, I would recommend you wake up early before the sun rises and start meditating then. Because if you start meditating before the sun rises, you get the calming energy of the moon. The moon is still present, and everything and everyone is still asleep, and you're the only one who is awake, and you're gonna get the same energy of the moon, and you can carry that same energy throughout, for the rest of your day. And so I would recommend meditating early in the morning and waking up before the sun rises. And the sun has the energy of, start doing and get going, and that's what sun helps grow things. So yeah, I would recommend that.
That's powerful. I learned that too with yoga as well, because yoga before
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
sunrise is
yeah, yeah.
powerful.
Yoga is also very good. It's also come from the, from an ancient tradition.
Mm.
Yoga is also, they talk about meditation, connecting your mind back to your body. And yeah, most of the time we are not in the present. We are, our mind is, racing 1,000 miles at hour, 1,000 miles in an hour. So it's really, helpful to learn how you should meditate, and to, bring your mind back to your body. So yeah, I
So you
hope you are
said
understanding what I'm saying.
right? No, yeah, completely, brother. Yeah, you said that you were once like an overthinker. When was the point where you kind of noticed like throughout your life when you were meditating, you're like, wow, like you had more peace? Like when did you realize you just had more peace?
Yeah, yeah. I would say after 1 month, yeah, after 1 month into starting doing meditation, before I started, like I said, I started meditating 1 year ago. And after a month, I knew that I should immerse myself completely into the practice. I will only feel if there is any change, or if meditation can do anything for me, only if I commit myself to that practice, and if I only and only if I stay, keep doing the practice every day, only if I'm consistent. And after 1 month, I started feeling like I'm not overthinking over anything. Before, I used to do, whenever I'm about to do something, I used to get palpitation. And now also, I told you, yeah, I used to get palpitation. I'm always scared and worried about everything. So that, that thing has now changed. That feeling or that habit has now changed. And sometimes, when I don't meditate for a few days, I know that old habit slowly slipping in back into my
Mm.
daily routine. So yeah,
It's crazy how like that can have a correlation with
correlate. Yeah.
working out, because we were just talking about what was that motivator for working out, and if we first accomplish and overcome ourselves in the morning, overcome ourselves with meditation, that can have a huge power into being a motivator to work out, right? Because
Yeah.
first be up here in our head and, like you said, overthinking. So if we first win this, then something else will come more easier, right? Something
Yes.
else in our life will follow, not easier, but it'll be more fluent. It'll be more flow in a way. So like the
Yeah.
meditation is, you are the observer. Like that's kind of like when people ask me like, okay, how do
Mhm.
you meditate? I'm like, well, everyone meditates differently, right? There's no like correct way, because
No.
everyone, like I might do it completely different than So what I look at is
I
like,
don't even know if I'm meditating correctly.
yeah, right, exactly. And like some people say, you gotta lie down, you gotta sit. Well, I'm like, I feel like it's whatever is to the human being, because we all meditate differently. So for me, what I do is I sit and I'm just trying to be the observer of my thoughts. So basically, I look at it like my thoughts, they're racing in and out, right? They're like a car. So a car comes in the frame and then it leaves. So that's my thought. The thought comes in and then it goes. I'm the observer. I'm in the back, right? I'm not holding attachment to that thought. I'm just simply observing it and watching it come in and watching it go, because you're going to have all these thoughts coming in and out. But if you can become the observer in that moment, and focusing on my breath helps a lot, right? Just slowing down my breath. If you can become that observer, everything else in your life, if you're in a tough moment, say you're in an argument with someone, you'll learn to become the observer in that moment and just realize like, wow, this is not me right here. I'm outside of myself. I'm not like intervening with this person right here. And that just helps you be meditative in every moment of your life. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm.
We can, whatever we do, we can make it into an
Mhm.
meditation practice. So
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
How long do you typically meditate for?
For half an hour.
Half an hour. That's really long.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
that's
because
really.
that.
I know
Yeah.
people who meditate for 1.5 hours.
Wow.
I can't do that. Yeah, I would like to talk a little bit about what I do when I meditate.
Yeah. Let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. First, I just sit and I close my eyes. I take a few deep breaths. Then what I do is I visualize things. I visualize who I want to be.
Mm.
About my dreams. It's so good. It's, they say our brain doesn't know the difference between what is true and what is
Hmm.
fake. It doesn't know. And so when we think like that, when we think as if those things are true, our brain is making or creating new neural pathways. Then it's our brain is going to think it's if we do that, it's more likely that it's going to happen in the future. So I have felt that manifesting and things. I don't know, law of attraction. I don't know if you're interested in those things, but I have
Yes.
tried to manifest a few things, and not all of things have manifested, but still I'm manifesting. I'm in the process, but I have manifested quite a few things. So I'm really I trust that
Mm.
visualizing. Then another thing I do is mantra meditation. Have you heard about that?
Yes,
It's
mantra.
one
Yep.
kind of,
I've done some
yeah,
mantra
mantra.
meditations. Yep.
Yeah. I chant mantra. When when I say mantra, I'm hearing it, so I'm incorporating all of my senses into it. I'm using my tongue, I'm hearing what I'm
Mm.
saying. And it is also good if you have a mantra written in front or on your wall or something. If you can paste it there, and you can say looking at that, so you're incorporating all of your senses. And then, yeah. And whenever I'm anxious, I do one thing, 5 things you can hear, 4 things, I do this, 5 things you can hear. Have you heard about that?
I
For
actually
5 things
haven't.
you
What?
can see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whenever you find your mind is racing, what I would recommend you doing is, just look at 5 things you can see, and try to hear 4 things you can hear, and focus on two things you can no, three things you can feel on your body, and two things you
Hmm.
can taste in your mouth. Okay,
So is that
even
like
if you
more?
even if that, yeah.
Is that more like a is that does that like give you perspective? Is that what that's doing? Is it like
No, it will just take your
becoming
mind back to our
present?
body, back to the
Right.
present
Okay.
moment. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow.
That's what I have been doing. Yeah,
It's funny because you mentioned all that like vision and mantra, and I've done all this stuff. This morning I just did meditation. I do
yeah,
some
yeah,
guided meditations on YouTube, and one of the things is like basically it's taking me into this reality where I am seeing myself becoming the person I want to be. And that's what you're saying. Like you say, you're acquiring that feeling, because it's one thing to think that you're doing it, but it's another thing to have the feeling. And when you have the feeling, that's when you start to change. Like you start to change cells. Everything inside your body starts to change. So in the morning, what I start to do now, and I'm trying to do it for about 30 days, because 30 days is when you create that habit, right? About it's like
yeah.
I don't know, it's like something amount of days past 20, you create that habit. So you'll start to routinely do it without subconsciously you start doing it. So I am now sitting within my body and just seeing myself in the future of who I want to be, instead of in the present, in the past of who I am, and kind of leaving that and becoming the other version. So it's exactly what you're saying. And
Okay.
to go into like mantra, I haven't done mantras in a while, but the one I have done was, I forget it was like something, but it was for my heart. It was like Lam Tom. You know what that is? But like you say it, and it's supposed to more activate your heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Then so
Yeah, that's I mean that's basically um that's basically the only things I've been pretty much doing is that meditation in the morning,
yeah.
and to follow, like I'll do yoga with meditation as well. So that,
Okay, okay. Yeah, I have seen your workouts on Instagram. I have been
mhm.
looking at that, and when I also want to do yoga and start doing it. I have never tried that. My mom used to do yoga, and I have never tried it. I should get into the habit. How old are you?
I'm 21.
You're 21? I'm
Mhm.
21 too.
Okay, okay. Awesome, awesome.
Okay, so I would like to talk a little bit about general health tips and
Yeah, yeah, for
yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah. And where should I start from? Sleeping early. I would start from there.
Hmm.
Sleeping early, we all know we have to sleep early. Everyone says that, and the reason why is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sorry, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's when our body try to rejuvenate, and that's the process. And that time period you have to be sleeping in. Did you
Mm.
understand? Yeah, we have to be sleeping from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And if you sleep early in the next morning, when you wake up, you'll feel so much energy too. And yeah, I would also recommend not eating this before sleeping. At least you have to have your dinner at least 2 hours before, sleeping,
Hmm.
because when you're going to sleep, when you're going into your bed, your body is trying to shut down. So when you just ate something, what the body is, when you're sleeping, what your body is doing is it's gonna, it's trying to digest the food you just ate. Your body is meant to be completely at rest while you're sleeping. So if that's not going to happen, next day your body will not have enough energy for the next day, and you will feel groggy, tired, and
Hmm.
sleeping is where your body gets energy from. Okay, it's like charging your phone. So, and when you think about your computer, you if you store so much data on your computer to its maximum capacity, it's going to be sluggish, isn't it? The same is true with our body. We also have to take care of our body, and we should give our body enough time to rest and all. Then yeah, and
Yeah, I
never
mean,
drink water along with food. You shouldn't drink water. I just said because you were drinking water. No, you
yeah,
shouldn't.
yeah.
You shouldn't drink water when you're eating, because there is digestive juices present in our body, in our gut.
Mm.
Okay, so when you drink water, what it does is it gets diluted with the digestive juice, and the digestive fire is not going to be enough. So when you eat food, most of the food particles is not going to be digested, and it's not. Then it's going to ferment in your body, and you will have a lot of gut issues like bloating, and you may feel gas irritant,
Mm.
irritability. All those things can happen. Yeah.
Wow, that's really important. I completely forget about that too, with that correlation with water and food. I mean,
Even if I say that I don't
yeah,
do it every time, it just happens. No, our life. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No,
we
for
should try
sure.
to do that.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. And especially you were saying about technology, the biggest thing I feel like is like avoiding blue light. You obviously know blue light is such a, because it's activating the light receptors in our brain and our eyes, and we're thinking that it's morning, right, when we're at time. What I'm trying to do now is about an hour and a half before I go to bed, I'm trying to put my devices away, which obviously is so hard, being on social media and everything, but it helps me. I see the difference so much, especially if I wear like blue light blocker glasses. If I just avoid my phone, the blue light, I will fall asleep so much more quickly, awake so much more refreshed, because my body's not like, oh my gosh, it's morning already when I'm looking at this. So that's important too, I feel like, as well. And especially the food, like you mentioned, I mean, that's just so key. Like not going to bed on like a full stomach,
Yeah.
just feeling like, so that's important. Yoga has been helping me a lot as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
my body, taking time to just like de-stress from the day, especially meditation. If I'm just like breathing into my yoga. So like I'll do some mobility, a few mobility practices, and then I'll just like breathe deeply into those, into my hips, into my arms, and then just I feel like so much more like at ease, and then I can just rest.
So may I talk a little bit about Ayurveda tips, easy tips? Yeah. So have you heard about Ayurveda before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, Ayurveda, it's world's oldest alternative health system, and Ayu means life, and Veda means knowledge. So it's literally the science of life. I will say just four things you can incorporate into your life. Four easy things. First one is, we have a digestive fire. Okay, so it's in Ayurveda they say we have to eat according to the sun. Okay, according to the intensity of the sun. So in the afternoon, sun is very intense, and in the morning and in the evening, it's a little bit less intense, isn't it? So when the sun is at its highest, that's when we should eat more. Okay, so during the afternoon, for your lunch, you have to eat more, and in the morning for your breakfast and your dinner, you have to eat a little less, especially for dinner. You can have a small, vegetable soup or something like that. But yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that?
I would like to learn more about that, because like I would like to learn more about like India's like culture with like how you eat and how that's spaced out throughout the day, especially for you, because like for me, I try to fast most in the morning. So like right now I haven't eaten at all. It's 9:30 where I'm at, and I will probably do like a little cardio, and then I'll have like something small, but I only like about 2 big meals throughout the day. And then some snacks here and there, but it's nothing to crash me. It's everything I do is try to eat as lean as I can, as clean as I can, and just be conscientious with what I eat. I think that's the main way for myself. But I would like to hear more about like what you do specifically in every day, and how like that can affect your whole energy.
Yeah. So I would start with the morning. So like I said, in the morning I do meditate for half an hour, at least I try to. Then what I do is I go and brush my teeth. And have you heard about tongue scraping? Scraping.
What was it? Non-scraping?
Tongue scraping.
Oh, tongue scraping. I think I've heard of that, but no, let me know what that is.
Do you do that? Do you tongue scrape daily?
I don't tongue scrape, actually. No, I just
have you ever tried?
Is it like, because don't we have a lot of plaque or something?
Yeah. So you have never tried it?
No.
So yeah, so you can get a tongue scraper of Amazon or anywhere. It's like a U-shaped thing. And so what you do is you can do it after you brush or before you brush. And what you essentially do is you just scrape your tongue from the back to the tip of your tongue. From the back of the back of your tongue to the tip of your tongue. You have to start doing that. And you will see a white colored thing which will accumulate on the on the tongue scraper. And you have to do it 2 to 3 times until everything is clean, until your tongue becomes clean. And it's a toxic substance. Okay, so our body is going through a lot of processes like digestion and all. So as a result, this thing will accumulate on your tongue. It's said to be a toxin, like I said. And if you don't scrape your tongue, what ends up happening is when you're eating food and when you're drinking, this is going to go into your body. You understand? So it can be the beginning of toxins building up in your body. So I would highly recommend doing that. In the Indian culture, we have been taught that from a young age. We were taught to do scrape our tongue from a young age. I think since I was 5 years old or something. From then we start doing that. So I have never stopped. We all do. So I feel like these days so many people don't do, especially in the Western culture. I don't think so many people they don't know what this tongue scraping is and what's the. Yeah, so I would highly recommend doing that. Then drinking lukewarm water, not drinking really hot or really cold water. Like I said, in Ayurveda they recommend our digestive ability to fire, to a digestive fire. We call it a digestive fire. And just imagine you pouring cold water into water over fire. What happens? It's gonna reduce, it's gonna go off. So like that, if you're drinking very cold water, it's gonna dampen your digestive fire. And then when you eat food after, it's not going to be digested properly. Then like I said, you will again start having bloating and all. And you shouldn't have extreme hot water too. It will end up hurting your digestive tract and all. So you should always drink lukewarm water. It's going to help flush toxins out of your body. That's really good for your body, and it will relieve inflammations and all. Yeah.
Now, is
So
this all the time you shouldn't do that? Like,
no, not all the time.
just
Some people,
morning.
they have a habit of drinking extreme cold water straight from the fridge, just right after a run. After they have gone for a run, when they come back, they just take a bottle of cold water from the fridge and then they drink it. And I would highly recommend avoiding that. You can drink a lukewarm water, or a water which is in the room temperature. you know yeah, that would be good, because it dampens your digestive system. And right after then you're going to have your breakfast, isn't it? So when you have your breakfast, it's going to dampen your digestive system, and it's going to, whatever you eat is not going to be digested properly. It's going to ferment in your body, and it's going to cause other problems. So it's not all the time, but most of the time, if you can, I would recommend doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
another
heard of
thing.
like drinking like lukewarm water, because what I try to do in the morning is drink a full glass of water at least, and it's lukewarm because it's kind of been sitting there overnight. But I mean, I pour it out, but it's cold if I drink it right away. But if I let it sit for a little bit, it will be warmer. So I try to do that because we become dehydrated throughout all the. But no, that's really important. So you do that. You wake up, you do the tongue scraping, and then lukewarm water. Then what follows after that?
Then what I do, like I said, I don't do any kind of exercise. I like doing, I walk, I read books.
Mm-hmm.
I read books on, especially on Ayurveda. And right currently I'm not reading anything about Ayurveda, but a book called The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Okay, it's a good book. It's about a girl named Notra. And what are your favorite books? I would love to know.
So currently, right now, I am actually reading. Well, I'm reading a couple of things. So right now, I always try to stay involved reading the Bible. So I'm always studying the
Yeah, yeah,
reading
good.
the Bible.
We also have Bhagavad Gita. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I had the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard I've
you
seen a
also
lot
read
of
that.
stuff with the Bhagavad Gita. I'm also reading this right here, but this is something I'm doing like kind of on the side. It's a textbook of yoga, so it's just packed with all asanas and everything. So I'm kind of
Yeah,
slowly master them, which I know takes so long, but I'm just slowly trying to really become attuned with my body when I'm doing that. And then currently right now I'm reading this book called Pain Free. So it's this guy named Pete Egoscu. He kind of created this Egoscu method, which is supposed to heal your body, right? It's like a whole, I'm just starting to read it, but it's pretty interesting. It's a whole different method of
yeah,
healing your body rather than what other people might think. But some of the main books I have read and I totally recommend are The Four Agreements. That is an amazing book.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
I think
Alchemist
it's,
by
yeah.
Paulo Coelho. I have that book right here, The Alchemist. I just
I
read.
heard a lot about those four agreements.
Yes, the four. I don't have that one with me. I think that's by Don Miguel Ruiz is his name.
Yeah,
Oh, this one as well, The Alchemist
The
by.
Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. Yeah.
This changed my life. This was so I might read this one soon. And then I just finished this one, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl.
They have a lot of books. Yeah,
Yeah, that was good. I have a couple more back there. Some nutrition books, some books I still
yeah,
have.
yeah.
Like there's a book on the Dalai Lama over there. I still haven't gotten to. So I just kind of still adventuring into books. But I've been reading it for a while now. But I'm like everywhere with them. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Have you read Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty?
Yeah, I have that. I have that somewhere around here. Oh, I think I gave it to my roommate actually. I did a review on that on my YouTube page actually.
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't
Yeah,
watch that. Yeah, it's a good book.
it's a really good book. It's a really good book. Yeah, I
It's
love.
really good book. It's good for anyone who is starting their spiritual journey. Or
Oh,
it's
for
good to
sure.
have it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a book I will
it's
go back to over and over again whenever I feel not not myself.
yeah, totally recommend that to everyone because it's more of like it's an easy to read book about like spiritual, like getting into stuff, and that's what I enjoy about it for sure.
Think Like a Monk. Then I have also been reading. I read another book called How Not to Die by, I don't know the order. How Not to Die. Have you heard about that?
It sounds
It's by a doctor. How Not to Die.
Okay. I don't think
I'm not.
I haven't read it. I don't. It sounds
Yeah.
familiar. It sounds
And
familiar.
then Atomic Habits.
Yes, Atomic Habits. I've listened to some of the audiobook of that. I haven't read.
Yeah. The audiobook is very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Atomic Habits. Then I don't remember. I have, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, I want to read. You said Hector Tolle, right?
So good.
Yeah,
Eckhart
yeah,
Tolle.
yeah. I have not read that, but that's something I do want to. Especially there's one Michael A. Singer. You hear of him?
Yeah.
He has
The
this one.
Untethered Soul.
Yes, The Untethered Soul. I want to read that really bad, and
Yeah.
I keep on seeing it everywhere, and I think it's a sign. That's like Man's Search for Meaning. I've always seen these signs everywhere, and I just read it. It was a powerful book. It talked about, you know, finding meaning in everything. It's like because the guy Viktor Frankl, he
Uh,
he was like a prisoner in a camp, so he had to find meaning in everything in life, and that's what he's talking about. How he survived and found meaning in even suffering, meaning in love, meaning in existence. So there's just so many things, and that's just great about these books. Awesome.
yeah. I'm, a great reader. I don't consider myself a good reader, but I do try to read, a lot. It's a good habit, no? You're going to getting the experience of someone else. They have put so much of their,
Do you
so much
read
of
in a
the,
specific way at all? Like, do you read or you just kind of like read
I
straight?
take the book. Yeah, just I read it. Not in a
Okay.
way. Whenever I'm free, I'll just read it. And before I go back to bed, when I go back to bed, on the bed I'll be reading it. And when I find myself, feeling sleepy,
Mm,
then I'll go back to my sleep. Yeah,
okay.
that's what
Perfect.
I've been doing. Yeah. Then another thing about Ayurveda I would recommend is, having food which has the highest amount of prana. I'm a little all over the place. No, I'm not having a consistent.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
No, let me
fine.
know more
Okay.
about that. What is that?
Yeah, food which has the highest amount of prana. Prana means life force.
Oh yeah, prana. Mhm.
Yeah, so whatever you get directly from the ground is fresh to eat. So that's when it has the most amount of prana in it, or the most amount of life force in it. So when you eat it, you're getting the same energy, nutrients, everything you're getting from that. Those things. Plants, they live, they have living cells like us, and so when we eat them, we are gonna get all the nutrients, everything that it has. So eat us things that are as fresh, as
So
possible.
prana is like breath, right?
Yeah. Prana is like breath. Yeah. It's almost like breath. And another thing, prana. And today morning I saw your Instagram story and about cooking with
Yeah,
conscious cooking.
yeah,
Oh, I have been yeah. I know a little bit about that. It's really important to cook,
yeah,
being conscious and cooking with devotion and love. When we are cooking, whatever we are feeling, or our energy that we are having while we are cooking is infused into the into the food that's being cooked. And when we serve it to other people, or when we eat it, we are receiving that energy from the food. And if you're going to give it to someone else, the person that's eating is going to get the same energy. So cooking
yeah.
with love and devotion is so important. Yeah.
Wow, that thank you for evaluating off of that because that's so true.
Yeah.
I didn't think
Yeah.
of how further you could take that. Someone also messaged me off of that story and said, how about when we have microwavable foods, right? Someone else prepared for us and we just kind of throw it in there. What is that doing to our physiology? And I can't even say those words. I always get mixed up, but that's why,
Me
like,
too.
yeah, I kind of created this process about cooking, and it's like a quick little process. And what you do is you just when you're cooking, you're present with the food you're making, but you're
Yeah.
also this might sound a little weird, but you're talking to your food because we are right. Everything
Yeah.
around us is energy. We are a collection of what we have ate. That's what our body is. So it's like if you talk to your food. So if I'm making eggs, I'm like, oh, these are gonna be the best eggs I ever had. Like I love these. Like if I'm just like talking energy and life into this, and then I make it. So what I do after that, that's the first step. You sit down with your food, and I love to pray. I just pray off my food,
Yeah.
grateful that
Gratitude. Yeah.
yeah, that this food exactly is going to nourish and replenish my body and give me life force. Thank you for this. And then the third step, right, is I just slowly chew my food. I have to take time to digest that food. The rule is actually 30 seconds, which is crazy because there's times where I just like get the food down. Of course, I'm not perfect with it, but that's the third step. And then the fourth step is the final step is the fourth step. You just wait 30 minutes after you're done and you just say, how did I feel after I ate that? Okay, how did I feel? Did I
Mhm.
feel sluggish? do I feel energized? Well, if I feel sluggish, maybe I should avoid what I just ate next time. If I'm energized, maybe I should look more into that. That's kind of this process I kind of created. And I just think it's like, it's so
Yeah.
changing for the kitchen. And,
These days, most of us are very busy. Even when we are eating, we are not actually, we are not actually mindful of eating. And we are just watching TV or reading something or looking over, social media. We're just scrolling through everything. We're not being mindful, and we have to know what like you said, what the food is doing to our body, how it goes. You have to chew, slowly. You have to know that you have to, you have to make, you can make it into a meditative experience. You have to eat like that. Yeah. So that's when you're gonna know what this is doing to your body, how different you feel, like you said. Yeah, that's so important. We
So
don't do that enough.
a little bit
Yeah.
more about you said you know a little bit about like the gut, like some tricks like gut health, having because gut our second brain, that's just something.
Yeah. So I would say, eating under 3/4 satisfied, your stomach, okay, under 3/4 satisfied, which why we say that it's when you overload your stomach with food, all of that is not going to be digested. And
Well,
like I
yeah.
said, it's going to cause other problems. So eat 3/4 satisfied. Then, and I said one more thing, that drinking cold water. Don't drink cold water just before your meal. And I would, if you are going to avoid snacking. Right out, you shouldn't eat anything, or you shouldn't snack anything right after you ate something. So what the body does is, when you ate something, your body starts the process of digesting that food that you just ate. So after 3 minutes, or after half an hour, if you're gonna eat something else, your body will forget to digest the old food, and it will start digesting the new one. So the old food, it's not going to be digested. It's going to ferment in your body, and it's going to cause other problems like constipation, diarrhea, vomiting. You can bloating, and also many other things can happen. So I would highly recommend not doing that. Not drinking cold water. And when you're eating, you should also not gulp so much of water. You can drink water. You can take small sips, but you shouldn't drink too much, because it's again gonna dilute the digestive juices, and your body will not be able to absorb all the nutrients from the food that you just ate. So that's also important. Then cooking with love, we also
Yeah.
touched on that. Yeah, that's also important. And yeah, and
Do
that's,
you
I
know
would
any
say,
like strong tips people can do to build like a stronger gut, a more healthy gut?
strong a good incorporating spices into their life. Spices.
Okay.
Yeah, spices so good for our body. It will do, it has antioxidant properties. Even if you're if even if you have digestion, there is a certain spice for treating with digestion. You can eat that. And in there is so many spices. And spices for every single problem, there is a spice. That's how we say. And may I talk a little bit about spices? I have a little
Yeah,
notebook
go
here.
yeah, go into. I don't know a lot about spices. I know a little bit, but please let me know. Yeah, let me know about let me know what you got. Like, please.
Okay, so spices, they are very high in antioxidants, and even if you have any inflammation, infection, it's going to treat that. First, I would start talking about cumin. Okay, I would say 5 spices.
Love
Cumin,
that.
have you
Yeah.
heard? Yeah, cumin.
Yeah, love cumin.
Cumin aids digestion. It helps with digestion a lot. Cumin, it supports appetite. If you don't have, it supports appetite. Some people will be very hungry sometimes, and if you eat a little bit of cumin, then if you eat a little bit of cumin, then it'll be good. And decreases blood flow too. It increases blood flow. Yeah, our blood circulation, it'll increase it. Our blood has to get to our brain, all of our body parts. Every single cell of our body needs blood flow. Oxygenated blood should be there, and it will help with that. Cumin and coriander. Do you know what coriander
I've
is?
heard of that. Yeah, I haven't used it.
Cilantro.
Oh, cilantro. Yeah, yeah.
Cilantro, it's the other word, for coriander. And it eases bloating and gas. If you have gas, irritation, or if you see yourself having bloating, you can eat a little bit, you can have a little bit of coriander. And it releases acid reflux. you know Acid reflux, it will treat, it's very good to treat acid reflux, and great for allergy seasons. If you find yourself sneezing all the time, or coughing, or running nose, you can have that cilantro. And it also helps release body heat. If you have excess amount of heat, if you just have a little bit of coriander, then you will feel it. You will feel a little bit of coolness. It will relieve all the excess heat which is present in your body. And if you're approaching the summer season, it's good to have something. You have to incorporate, and you have to add into your life. Incorporate, I'm not able to say that word. Then fennel
Yeah,
seeds,
yeah.
yeah, fennel. It's said to be a post-meal digestion. Okay? For post-meal digestion, you can have it. After you ate something, you can have fennel. It will help with digestion and freshens breath. If you have bad
Mm.
breath, you can have fennel, and soothes throat, soothe throat, and support milk production too. Women who are early moms, they will be breastfeeding their children, so it will increase milk production. And women who are pregnant should avoid this, having fennel, because it increases uterine contractions. So if they are pregnant, it's likely that they'll have problems, so they have to avoid fennel when they are pregnant. And after that, it's very good to have after after the delivery. It's very good for them because it's going to increase milk production. The baby is going to get so much of milk from the mother. And yeah, and then cardamom,
Mm.
it's anti-inflammatory. It's very anti-inflammatory. If you find yourself having any kind of infection, you can have it, cardamom, and it boosts our immune system. Cardamom boosts our immune system, flushes toxins out of our body, and you can add it to oatmeals, to a warm milk. Okay, you can sprinkle a little bit cardamom over on your milk, and you can just mix it up and drink it. It's a good drink, an evening drink. Instead of coffee, just have it, coffee or tea. That's better to have. And you can, when you bake, when you make cake, cookies, smoothies, and all, you can sprinkle over that, and it's also really good. Another thing, turmeric. Have you heard about
Oh
turmeric?
yeah, I just used some of that
Yeah,
last night, and
yeah,
in this meal I made, I put some of that in there. That stuff's
yeah.
good.
It's like the king
That's
of
right, right?
spices. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's turmeric is a solution for every single problem. Even if you have any problem in your skin, you can do that. People who
Hmm.
have pimples, it's really good for pimples. You can just you can just mix it with a little bit of water. You
Oh,
have to
cool.
make it like a paste, and then you can put on your face. You can even put all over on your face. It's said to be a mask. We do that sometimes. When I find myself having a pimple, then it's antibacterial, antiviral. It has antibacterial properties, antiviral, it's antifungal, and it's like it's pretty much everything.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, and it also supports liver function, blood flow. Yeah, it also has added beauty benefits. Like I said, you can put over on your face. And
Mm.
turmeric is the king of spices, I
Mm.
would say. Yeah.
So, out of all those spices that you shared, what are the top three that you would recommend to anyone that's like, oh, I need to have these three spices in my life right now? What are the three out of them?
Turmeric for sure.
Okay.
I would say cumin and then fennel.
Fennel. Okay.
So sorry, cumin and then coriander.
Coriander. Right. Which is
You can,
cilantro, right?
yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
cilantro. Yeah, yeah. And have you heard about CCFT?
I have not.
No, it's coriander, cumin, and fennel seed.
Oh,
Fennel. Okay,
okay.
you
It's like
can,
a
yeah,
combination.
yeah, it's a combination. Okay, you have to take equal. Okay, all of three of these you have to take an equal amount. Then you can, boiling water. You can put it, and you can, just make a tea, or you can, crush it. You can get it in the powdered form. Then
Mm.
when you can put it into boiling water, and you can have it. It's really good for, it's good for everything for your body. You have to have it daily.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it seems
It's
like there's also a lot of physical benefits with the spices.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Of
never
course.
really think about, like you said, for pimples. Like I usually just always think about cooking, but there's so many other things that spices can be used for. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you for enlightening me on that.
They're
That's
very high in antioxidants.
hmm
Yeah. We say like an apple a day keeps a doctor
yeah,
away. Have you heard about that? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's because they have antioxidants in it, the same way, the spices have. And it's also good to have berries, strawberries and berries. Apple has 100 unit of antioxidants or something, whereas berries have 160 units of antioxidants.
Okay.
Couple of berries. So I would recommend doing that also. Try to incorporate, try to add so much, for plant-based food,
Hmm.
fruits, vegetables, all those things. Add more spices into your life. It's gonna,
Now,
treat so much of your problems which is in your body. So much of your body problems it's gonna treat.
do you use spices to make tea at all?
Yeah, like I said, no, this one, CCFT,
Okay,
I
that's like
said.
a tea. Is that like a tea
Yeah,
combination?
that's like a tea. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's like
okay,
a tea.
okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay. Awesome.
You just boil water, and then you take equal amounts of coriander, fennel, and cumin. Then put it in, and just mix it for and you have to keep it there for 5 minutes more. Then you can just take it and drink it. It's really good. Okay, I'll show you how you should make it
Yeah,
after
awesome.
this
Yeah, I would
session.
love to learn
After
that.
this,
Yeah, no, for real, I would love to learn that. Because I love drinking tea. That's like I usually use packets, but I never really like got more into making like all natural like tea. Like from
yeah, 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 yeah.
really just from straight up spices, which I really want to try because I know actually
Even if I say this, I don't do this daily, but sometimes when it's possible, I try to do.
I've
Yeah,
done it one time and I made it. I think it was a turmeric ginger tea and I steamed like the ginger, the turmeric, and it was really good and it was really powerful. But it was like a serving I could have over 5 days in the morning, and I'll tell you, like my energy it felt like more real. I don't know, like
yeah.
something else. But is there something that you take other than spice? Like, do you do supplements or you just rely on
No,
natural?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no. I don't do supplements. I have never tried any kind of supplements, but it's good to take supplements,
Hmm.
And I would recommend having vitamin B12. You
Hmm.
don't need to have a prescription for that. You can, even if you have large amount of vitamin B12 supplements, you can, it's not going to do any harm to your body. Even if there is excess amount of vitamin B12, it's your body is going to excrete it out of your body. Yeah. So vitamin B12 is okay, but other supplements, I would recommend having a prescription, seeing a doctor, and
Yeah.
seeing a dietitian or something. You have to do your blood tests, and after that they'll be able to identify what problems you're having, what you're lacking, or what is reduced in your blood, or what is high in your blood, or what is less in your blood. They'll be able to know that, and according to that they will be prescribing you what kind of supplements you have to take.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
good to have a guide rather than
Yeah.
just throwing everything into your body.
Yeah. No, for
We
sure.
don't know what it's gonna do to our body, so it's
Mhm.
better to have someone guide us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to be more aware, of course. Yeah, I feel like also there is there if we like even eliminate a lot of the supplements, we can find a lot of health outside, right? Because we're now growing up in an environment in a house where like we were talking about the gut for a little bit. If you just kind of go outside barefooted and ground yourself and walk in like the soil and the grass, like that is so powerful. Like literally being out in the sun and all of that, like soaking that in the energy, especially in the morning, like that is so
yeah, yeah.
we can take out of a lot of the stuff that we use for supplements and restore our body in a more natural way by doing something like this. Are you
Yeah.
familiar with anything like grounding and walking out on like the earth?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Walking like without wearing.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
might seem weird, but without using any footwear.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Walking, and it's gonna ground you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, yeah, grounding. Then about sitting, spending time in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Just sitting, on the floor. Or not on the floor. Sitting in the nature and spending time in nature. Like I like looking at clouds and the way clouds move. It's like a meditative
Yeah.
experience for me. It's like that it's one of those magical moments where you just look at the clouds and the way it moves. This might seem weird, but yeah.
No,
And
it's
some,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, the way trees swing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's powerful for you, man. Hell, that's also what I'm saying. Like
yeah, 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 yeah.
started talking about meditation, we're saying
Yeah,
like
those
how
are things that helps me. Those are things that help me to to be in the present moment. Whenever I'm anxious, these are things I would try to do. Yeah.
mm, awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I would just like to know like something that you could give us as like a takeaway of like changing your lifestyle like day basis. If you had to say like three main things, you have to start doing this now to take control of your life, to be more present, to be more alive, to feel more energy. Like what would that be?
Meditation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then journaling.
Mm-hmm.
Journaling, oh, so powerful, man. It's so powerful. Before, I had so many bad qualities. One of them is jealousy. I was very jealous of other people. Then overthinking, I said about that. And yeah, jealousy, overthinking, and not being in the present moment. And I would love to talk about jealousy. Before, I was very jealous of other people. It's a bad quality to have. We all are sometimes. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm very jealous of students who can study better than me. In my class, I try my maximum, but sometimes it's not possible. And people who can sing. I used to be like that, and I was very jealous of other people. And even if any of my friends, if they get, if they get some kind of success, I would be like, okay, why am I not doing that? Why can't I do that? Okay, that's good for him. Why am I not doing those kinds of things? And when you feel jealous, it makes you feel like you have a void in yourself, it's talking, it's making you realize that you have an emptiness in yourself, and that's not a good quality to have, yeah, it's if you keep being jealous, it's only going to increase that emptiness in yourself. So that's when I started journaling, and I tried to find things, what is causing me to have be jealous. Okay, how can I get rid of that, how can I get rid of jealousy? And now I think, like, that person is successful just because they have put in the work and they are ready to do hard work, which I'm not. If I want to be successful, that's what I have to do. I have to put in the same amount of work, I have to put in so much of hard work, then I can be like them if I put in the work and if I hard work. Yeah, that's one thing. When I journal, if I only journal when I have a problem. It's not, I don't keep that, dear. I'm not a dear diary person. Some people keep that dear diary stuff. I'm not like that. I just keep a diary. I just have a journal, and whenever I find myself having a problem, or whenever I'm anxious over something, I just write, why am I anxious? What is causing me to be anxious? Okay, what I can do to get out of this, out of this habit. And then I will try to find myself, journaling, just like meditation, it helps to understand yourself better. Before I didn't know who I was. When I went to college, I had to stay by myself. And my college, my university, it's not, it's very far from my home. It's 19 hours away, yeah. So when I had to spend that was the first time I was spending time with myself. I was really anxious, I was crying all the time. It wasn't, yeah, crying all the, because I was really homesick, I was very attached to home and my mother. So then that at that time also I used to journal, and that's when I started understanding myself. I was spending time with myself and away from the people I have spent most of my time with. So yeah, that's when I understood myself. I started understanding myself, who I am, and what are the qualities I have, what are the bad qualities I have, what are the good qualities I have, and what I can do to get rid of those habits. Yeah, I don't know if this makes sense, but yeah.
Yes, it totally does. It's like journaling gave you a love for yourself,
Yes.
Journal gave you, it found you that love.
uh,
You're expressing something not to someone, but you're expressing it outward. Like you're just saying what's really dear to your heart onto a piece of paper or something where you're putting it. And that's powerful. And that's what I find with journaling as well, is that like when I am just letting everything out, I'm just like, okay, if I haven't journaled in a while, I'll know the difference. Like, wow, like I need to, especially if I'm on my own, like right now I'm on my own. So like I need to, like, journaling is so key, and it just helps me stay more aware of myself. And it, like you said, it helps you kind of like distinguish yourself from others. Like you do find yourself, you find more of the love of yourself, and you realize like, wow, like these are my capabilities and this is what power I have. And then you look at someone else and say, I appreciate what they have too. Like you don't even compare yourself, you don't even judge them, you just look at them and say, I'm not even jealous of you, I actually appreciate what you do and serve in this world. And then you look at yourself and you're like, wow, like I can serve in my own way because I'm unique myself. And I feel like that's very powerful. So I applaud you for sharing that,
yeah, yeah, meditation, journaling, and yeah.
And then the third one, we had one more. So to finish it off, we
We
had
need
meditation,
one
journaling.
more. Okay, meditation, journaling. Not able to find one. Yeah. Why power?
Why power? Tell me about why power. Is that from the power or
You before when we started off, you started talking about
oh
why you want to
yes.
meditate. Yeah, you
Yes.
always have to find your why. It's something I have heard so many people talk about, and I have also found that useful in my life. I want to exercise. Why do I want to exercise? Because I want to
Yeah.
be healthy. I want to have a good good body. And if when we take meditation, why do we want to meditate? Why?
Mhm.
Because you have to have a positive mindset. You want to change the way you feel, the way you think. So like what's your why power? That you have to find your why. If you want to do something, if you really want to do something, first you have to what you have to know first is, what's your why power? Why do you want to do this? What is it going to change? What is going to do to you? So why power? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
powerful.
okay?
Because like, yeah,
Yeah.
why is huge. A why is huge. That'll
Yeah.
drive you so far because you can
Yeah.
have, motivation is great here. And this is what I've learned. Like, okay, motivation is good for a period of time, but if you are relying on outward motivation and not self, like inward, your own why, that's your motivation. that why, inward motivation, that'll drive you so much further. And yeah, that's just no, and it's something that actually was shared with me in the book that I read, which was I shared earlier. This Man's Search for Meaning. He said in there that if you have a why, every how that comes in your life will be easy to find, right? If you have,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and then a how comes up, like, how can I do this? Well, oh, I know my why, right? How am I going to be able to accomplish this? Oh, well, this is my why. You know, so it's like that, the power of your why is so huge. So that's a
yeah.
great
It's a
power of why. Thank you, brother.
power of, yeah, yeah. So, so is that it?
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you got anything else to share, I mean, that's like I appreciate
No,
you, you know, for coming on and sharing everything with me. I mean, we talked
no,
about
that's
a big load of stuff. You know,
yeah,
we
yeah,
shared a
yeah,
lot, and I think this is going to help a lot of people just kind of open up their minds,
yeah,
more opportunity to seek out there and see like
yeah, yeah.
how much you've advanced in your life, because we still have a long way to go, brother. And like we, it's everything. We just got to enjoy the moments as we come, and that's something I think I've been working on as well. Is just taking a step back and just appreciating these moments now, because there's a time where I'll be like, I'm rushing to do things. I'm rushing to do things. But then I'll be like, wow, what am I rushing for? You know, let me take a step back and let me appreciate the process of this journey. So I think that's,
Mm.
and I just thank you again, Gokul, for coming on here and just talking, and I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you for agreeing me. Yesterday, I know I disappointed you. We were supposed to do this yesterday, but for some reason I couldn't.
that's fine,
And
brother.
I'm also taking class for my junior students. So
Hmm.
for my juniors, so I have to prepare notes for them. I have to prepare notes for myself. And for college also, they told me to submit notes yesterday. Yeah, so I didn't get enough time, and the night before I didn't get enough sleep because I was constantly writing. If I don't get sleep, if I don't get enough sleep, what happens? I start having headache. So yeah, yesterday I wasn't able to do
Hey,
that. I had to complete my notes, and you
it's
have
all
to
in
sleep for
divine
7 hours.
timing.
That's another thing. Yeah,
You know, I say it's all in divine timing. You know, this time we were supposed to talk. It's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know, like that's all meant to be.
yeah.
And you know, like everything else, I can see how much of like a hardworking person you are, and how like inspired you are, intelligent to like do all these things. So like, brother, thank you again. Much love for coming on here, man. Appreciate
Thank you so much for having me.
you.
Thank you.